everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports. We're your hosts, as always, Zach and Jake Gardner.
Hello, hello.
And today we have our Hockey Week 20 prep episode. I don't know about you, Jake, but I'm super pumped.
You sound like you just woke up. So I don't know. Are you?
Well, geez, that's just my voice.
No, you're just sounding robotic today.
Okay, so we have surprises of the week, storylines, injury news, slump busters, buy low and sell high trades, and of course, we're going to wrap things up with Scoop 'em Up. So thanks for listening, everybody, and we hope you enjoy this week's episode.
Yes, sir.
So, surprises of the week. Nick Suzuki was the leading scorer this week. Not a surprise per se, but I just wanted to flex that I was right, that he was a buy low a few weeks ago. So yeah, I was right. So feels good. 26.75 points, 2 goals, 5 assists in 3 games, 4 power play points, 11 shots, 4 hits, 3 blocks. And there's just a lot to like about this guy. He does it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then fucking Nick Schmaltz. This dude's being a dude right now. Somebody call the fire department because this guy's on fire.
Wow.
3 goals and 5 assists in 3 games. He's almost a point per game on the season. Like, who would have thought that going into this year that Schmaltz would be a point per game player, especially with all the guys they traded away from Arizona over the offseason? Like, he was like him and Chychrun were like the only 2 like actual NHL players left on the team. So he's almost definitely worth a stream right now while he's smoking. If he keeps it up, it could definitely just be a hold, and I would try and get him and just see how long it lasts. You know, it could be something, or it could be nothing. Who knows? But I mean, he's hot right now. And then Jake DeBrusk and Eric Haula on Boston. So 4 goals, 1 assist, and 3 goals, 3 assists, respectively, in 4 games this week.
Mm-hmm.
Both players are shooting a ton, and they're getting small PP time.
My God.
Both are worth streaming consideration. Don't know how long this will last with these 2 guys. Especially with Jake DeBrusk, he's usually a very hot and cold type of player. Eric Haula, I think his best years are kind of behind him too. So these guys are definitely both guys that I would stream right now, but I'm not expecting it to be anything that's like, oh, is a move that's going to last till the rest of the season, or, you know, win you a playoff matchup or something. But, you know, while they're hot, maybe consider picking them up if you have a spot.
Okay.
Then Paul Stastny, 3 goals, 2 assists in 3 games, had a very nice week. This is one that I would think about maybe picking up just because of the name value with him, but he is not getting a lot of ice time. Like, he's still getting between like 10 and 15 minutes a game. So usually that doesn't lend itself to points very often. So that's just kind of like, if there's better options out there, like any of these other guys, you know, pick up them before maybe Stastny. But if he's like the only guy available in a very deep league that you're in, he might be worth picking up. But just, you know, that ice time, just, you know, keep that in the back of your mind that he's getting like 3rd line time and not on a power play. So just consider that. And then lastly, with surprises, Craig Smith, 4 goals and 1 assist in 4 games, popping off, tons of shots, tons of bangs. I'm saying I typed out on here, this guy's worth a stream, but I actually think this guy's worth a pick up and hold. Looks like he may be poised for a second half tear, just like he had last year. I picked this guy up around the same time last year, and he was a hold all the way through the end of the season. Like, he was one of the better second half players last year. And it looks like he is doing a carbon copy of last year this year. Like, you know, a guy nobody knew about first half, does like nothing, and then around this time starts going off. And just because he did it last year for like 2 months, I think that there's a history there that if he gets hot, he could sustain it because that's exactly what he did, and I had him on my team, and I kept wanting to drop him, but he never, like, every week he would be putting up like crazy numbers. Like,
Mhm.
so I don't know. Just consider that when you're looking at this guy. He is a guy that when he gets hot can sustain things for a while. So he might be a guy that you could keep on your team for like a 3 weeks or a month or something, and he can help you get a few dubs. So Craig Smith, definitely worth considering. Definitely worth considering.
Noted.
Yeah, so that's my surprises of the week. Anything surprise you this week, Jake? Doesn't even
Um,
have to be hockey related.
the Batman reviews are good. I thought it was gonna be trash.
Hell
But,
yeah, hell yeah. Robert Pattinson's a good actor. You heard it here first.
Yeah, but then I kind of had surprises of the week, but they're also slump busters, so I put them in slump busters.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get there. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
So no spoilers for hockey, but tell us about the Batman. What can we expect? I'm just kidding.
It's like it's not an action packed, 100 miles per hour every scene movie. What I heard is it's like a detective movie.
That's pretty dope.
Which is like movies that I like a lot. So if you're
So
just
it's
looking for an
kinda
action
maybe-
movie, it's not for you. But if you're
Maybe
looking
going
for
back to like the original Batman comics, how it kind of was.
it's kind of how Batman is, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
detective, like, yeah, there's action, but he's trying to figure things out, like people are plotting.
That's really cool. Like I
Yeah.
definitely might consider taking the little lady out to see that.
Yeah, I saw
Maybe.
this one review. It's like, they said it's like Seven, Seven from the 90s.
Yeah, good
Brad-
movie. Yeah.
Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. They
Yep.
said it's like that kind of like detective thriller, like
Okay.
kind
Awesome.
of feel.
I haven't seen a movie like that in a while.
And it's
They
3
haven't-
hours long. So
Shit. Yeah, I'm much intrigued for sure.
yeah.
So
Anyway,
yeah, that's the
not wearing
Batman.
hockey pads.
So with that, Jake, Harvey Dent, can we trust him?
Scary face. Oh my god! You remember those videos that were making fun of the Dark Knight? Oh my god!
Yeah, those are great. I haven't seen those in a while, but yeah, I always
They're over. Yeah, I mean it was around then.
But yeah, moving on to storylines.
Yeah.
So first on the list of storylines here, Batman, 3 hours long. So
Yeah.
definitely a long, definitely a long movie. Yeah. So John Carlson is back, baby.
Really?
I know
Finally.
I know you specifically are super happy about that, Jake. I know you love it when John Carlson's doing great.
Oh, because he's on your team.
Because you love hearing me
Weren't you
talk
losing this
about
week?
guys on my team. I was, but I came back and I'm whooping Max
Holy
now.
shoot! Yeah. You came back a lot.
Yeah, I didn't set my lineup on Monday and Tuesday. I forgot.
Wow, what a cocky bastard! He's like, oh, I'll win it. You grabbed Koskinen? Oh,
Yeah, well, Mike Smith is hurt again, so Koskinen's going to be back to getting like all the starts, and he's better.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I
Wait,
picked him
now
up.
you're down to 3 goalies. So you grabbed
Yeah.
another. So you grabbed a forward or something?
Grabbed a defenseman,
Who?
Ben Sherratt, because I think he's getting traded, which we'll talk about here in storylines.
Got it. Go for it.
But yeah. So my first on the list is I just like to whenever like a guy on my team does good, I like to flex. Call me a cocky asshole. I don't care. It's just what I like to do.
Well, it's probably a guy. It's a guy anyway that people have been waiting on.
Yeah, because John Carlson's.
Heat up.
But yeah, John Carlson is back. I mean, anybody that owns him, like I kept him from last year, and 2 years ago was like when he was like the number one. He was like insane, like crazy, going off. Last year he was very good as well. I think he was like number 3 or 4, like still very, very freaking good. I kept him. This year, been kind of a slow burn. Like he's had hot streaks where he's like looking like, but he hasn't been like super consistent, like every single game giving you like, great. Like it just seems like this year he's still very good, but like you can see maybe the wheels starting to come off a little bit. Like his age is starting to catch up. Like I don't know how many more years of great defenseman he's going to be. But I'd say maybe like 1 or 2 because he's not like crazy old, but like it just hasn't been like the same year where he's just been dominant,
Yeah.
But he's back with a vengeance this last week with 25 fantasy points, 5 assists in 3 games, 3 power play points, getting some hits and blocks, like doing the normal Carlson things where he just fills up that stat sheet. Like, he's looking very, very good. Like, where I'm thinking about maybe keeping him again. But I want to see a little more consistency with it. Maybe if he can lead me to a championship, maybe I consider it. But yeah, so John Carlson had a great freaking week. And then kind of like my actual storyline that I want to talk about. Ben Chiarot, defenseman on Toronto. I'd say maybe their number 2. Most likely, he's like their number 3 defenseman, but maybe at his best, he's like their number 2 defenseman. He's like one of those guys that's not a very great offensive defenseman very often. He's one of those like stay-at-home, sound defensemen that where he's just going to make the hockey play. He's not looking to get like assists and stuff like that. He's just he'll do the hit, he'll do the blocked shot, he'll pass the puck, but like he's not always looking to score. He's not one of those guys. That's just not his role. And that type of player is a great player on like a great team that has like Stanley Cup aspirations. You can always use guys like that. So there's a ton of smoke about Ben Chiarot going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And all the trade, simulations or whatever, like that people type up, like what the trade could possibly be, doesn't have Toronto giving Montreal like any of like their better players, giving them like a first and second round pick and then like some third and fourth line guys. Like, it is not going to be anything that they have to really give up much like off of their actual team. So then getting Ben Chiarot on their defense, he probably would go on the first line next to oh god, what the hell? Why when I get on these fucking elaborate soliloquies, I can never remember the guy's name. But he'll probably go on that first pairing, and he might go on a power play. Like I just think he's gonna put up better numbers. Maybe minutely, but he's gonna put up better numbers overall getting on Toronto, and I think that would be a great move. And I don't know if it's actually gonna happen, but there's a ton of smoke about it. So I think Toronto's really trying to get it done. And then Ben Chiarot would definitely be more fantasy relevant because he's going to be on a great team getting some power play. Like especially if he's on the power play with like Austin Matthews, like he's going to get assists just by, being there. So all he's got to do is pass to him and just, let the magic happen. So, but yeah, there's just been a ton of smoke about it. A lot of writers talking about it, and Montreal has been showcasing Chiarot this whole week. So like in the NHL, they kind of do this leading up to the trade deadline with guys that like they're obviously trying to trade. Like Ben Chiarot's ice time went up by like 3 minutes, and they moved him to his natural side of the ice where, it's so like I think he's a right-handed guy. So they moved him to the left side of the ice. So like it gives him a easier shot opportunity on goal, from that side of the ice. They've been doing all this, like, a trade is definitely imminent, and Toronto needs defense really bad. He'd be a nice addition. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that.
For sure.
Yeah. So those are storylines. You have anything, Jake? Any hockey storylines or?
No, nothing major that came up on my feed.
Yeah.
I don't think we're missing anything.
It's been kind of a slow week. There's not a lot.
Gotta wait for all the trades, right? I mean,
yeah,
Caulfield's still doing the special.
Yeah, there's not a lot really to talk about right now, for sure. It's been rough. So
yeah, we kind of hit a lot last week. I mean,
we really did. We did. So go back and listen to that one if you missed it. There's a ton of storylines there. So yeah, now we'll break into some injury news. Everybody's favorite section.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my computer is
Do you want me to
slow.
Go? Okay.
No, I got it. So looking down the list here, not too much going on. Buffalo Sabres. Henry Jokiharju day-to-day. And then Carolina Hurricanes. Tony DeAngelo. This is not great with an abdomen injury. Placed on injured reserve. Not great at all, especially for me who owns him. It really sucks.
Yeah, what is it?
It's an abdomen injury. He's on injured reserve, and they don't.
Abdomen.
Yeah, there's just no timetable on his return. They say it could be a couple weeks or more.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
just hockey things.
It's awesome. Freaking awesome. And then Bowen Byram's still out with his head injury, like that concussion thing that we talked about, like at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really concerning that he's been out since like, I don't know, November, like with this head injury, and he can't get back on the ice, and hasn't practiced since November, and he's just still can't get back on the ice. That's very concerning that this concussion is just, those things can linger, and I guess he had a really bad one.
Mm-hmm.
So it just really sucks, man. And then Detroit Red Wings, Jacob Vrana has been taking contact in practice, no timetable on the return. I'm having this guy, like when they announce that he's gonna be back, I'm picking him up immediately because he's gonna get top line time, and I think he could be something. He'd be like a deadline move for Detroit with them not having to make any kind of move at all. Like he's going to be a great player for them whenever he can get on the ice. He hasn't played this whole season. He's been hurt. But when he does come back, he'll be a top line guy, top power play guy. So I'm immediately adding that.
Okay.
Florida Panthers, Joe Thornton, undisclosed, practiced in a non-contact jersey Monday. So we'll see if he can get back on the ice. But they have a lot of players on that team, so he's gonna have to really do a lot to earn that ice time on that team for sure. They can roll 4 scoring lines out there, so they're just one of those scary teams.
Okay.
Minnesota Wild. This came at a terrible time. Matt Zuccarello and Jordan Greenway, both of them day to day. Doesn't say what injuries they got, so they're just both day to day. Zuccarello has been like their leading scorer the last couple of weeks. This guy, we talked about him last week, how he's just on a freaking tear. And then I put him on sell high, and then he gets hurt. That's just so. I guess I can just call these things.
Yeah. Wow. What a guy.
Montreal Canadiens, Paul Byron. Upper body is expected to join the Canadiens in a non-contact sweater for practice prior to Wednesday's game in Vancouver. So we'll see if he can get back on the ice. One of their better players, one of their veteran guys, been there a long time. They like that type of player in Montreal, guys that have been there for like 10 years. New Jersey Devils, Pavel Zacha, day to day. Rolling down the list here. New York Rangers, Capo Caco. Upper body is not expected back until closer to the NHL's March 21st trade deadline. Okay. I mean, he hasn't been. Yeah, he was like the second overall pick a few years ago, but like he's been kind of booty cheeks for them. So I don't think they're missing much with him out. But it kind of sucks for his development that he's has an injury now. But yeah, they were expecting a lot more from Capo Caco, and he hasn't really delivered so far.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And then, geez, nothing really here. San Jose Sharks, Mario Ferraro, with a leg injury, placed on injured reserve Tuesday, not sounding good there. And then Erik Karlsson, he should be coming back here shortly, maybe like next week sometime. With that forearm injury, he'll be coming back. And if somebody did drop him, go check. Like, he's absolutely worth a go and check if he's on your waiver wire, and add him now. I've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. Get him on your team if he's available, and put him on an IR spot until he comes back, because he was having a great like resurgent year before he got hurt. And if he can get back on the ice, I definitely would want to add that. So just go check if somebody did drop him. You never know. Toronto Maple Leafs, Andre Kasha was placed on injured reserve on Saturday. That sucks. He was having a pretty good year whenever they would play him on the first line. Vegas Golden Knights, fucking Max Pacioretty. This dude is cursed. I swear to God, he can never like stay on the ice. Every time he has an injury, he comes back, plays like a week, and then he gets hurt again for like 3 weeks. It's just a very frustrating year for a great player like that, who was like a lot of people's like maybe second round pick, Max Pacioretty, or maybe even a first round or keeper or something. Like, he's a great player, and he's given pretty much nothing this season. So like kind of a lost year. Yeah, and that's injuries, everybody. Actually not a lot this week. That's kind of nice. And no COVID information too, if you've noticed. Like, that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we moved on to war now.
Yeah, so we're moving on to slump busters. So obviously, like we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we got Nick Suzuki and John Carlson. Those guys just popping the hell off. Definitely busting out of some slumps.
Yeah.
And then
sure. Bust.
Jason Robertson slowed down a little bit last week, but he got back to Robertson things this week, capped off with a hat trick his last game. So I wouldn't be too worried about Jason Robertson. He'll go 2 games without scoring, but then he'll score a hat trick. So, that's Jason Robertson for you. I love this kid. And then Ryan Hartman. Like, he's been slowing down a lot the last couple of weeks, but he had a great week this week, and he's on the top line now with Kaprizov and Matt Boldy. So, I mean, Ryan Hartman, even though he was like really bad for a couple of weeks, he's getting that first line center time. I mean, Jesus Christ, first line center Ryan Hartman. I mean, there you have it. It doesn't make sense, but there he is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just I guess keep going with that because he's next to 2 studs. So I guess he's just gonna but he's been scoring scoring goals. So like I don't know what's going on. We're living in Bizarro world or something.
Yes.
And then Jacob Chikrin has had a really just slow year, but has had a great last week or 2 getting on the score sheet. And he's going to be traded here soon, I believe. So just he's playing good right now on Arizona. Seemed like he's finding his stride, and he's going to go someplace where he'll potentially play even better. So, Jacob Chikrin doing some Chikrin things.
Oh, yeah.
And then Neil Pionk, 4.6 in his last 7. Yeah, he's had a slow, maybe
like
not
2
quite
months.
like 2 months. Okay, I was going to say like 3 weeks, but longer than that, like 2 months.
I mean, he was at 5.
And he dropped down to like almost 3, right?
First month, and now then he got down here to 3.7, 3.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit lower. And
I knew that eventually he was going to break out of that. I just don't know how long it would take. But yeah, because Neil Pionk, I mean, the last like 4 seasons has been a top 5 defenseman. So, I wasn't too worried about him getting back to his ways, especially on Winnipeg, where they're just a very potent offense. So like, there's plenty of opportunity for him to break out of a slump. So I'm not surprised that he's been getting back to like his usual scoring ways, but it's finally good to see him actually do it. Because you can say it for so long till you're blue in the face, but until it actually happens, you're like, well, is he going to get back to it? So it's good to see him get back to it. I think he definitely will sustain it because 4 years tells you he will. And similarly with Pierre-Luc Dubois, 6.6 in his last 7. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's going off. It seemed like he was just kind of maintaining, not quite like dominating the last like couple months. Like just, he'd get like enough points to where his average wouldn't go down, but like he wasn't like really being a catalyst for you like winning weeks. It just seemed like every time I would pay attention a little bit to him. Good to see him going off again in the last week. Yeah, Pierre.
Yeah, no, he's back. I think he had like a month slump.
Little slump. That wasn't even it wasn't even really a slump, just like getting an assist here, an assist there, not like dominating,
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't.
Now he's kind of back.
Yeah, so it's definitely good to see because you're just wondering, was it just a hot streak with Pierre-Luc Dubois, or was he going to get back to like dominating like he was when he was on Columbus? So I definitely think it's more toward how he was on Columbus. He is a really good player, and I'd be happy to have him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you got anybody else, Jake, we'll just move on to buy low.
No, that's it for me. Those 2.
All right, that's it for him, dog. Move on to buy low trades. I just got a couple guys. I don't know if you're in a league where you have a trade deadline or not. You might not be able to trade right now, but I just got a couple guys to talk about. If you still want to buy low on anybody, Dominic Kubalik on the Blackhawks. This is definitely a true buy low. Has had a very disappointing year, but I believe he can have a nice second half. Wouldn't have to give up much. This guy is a pure goal scorer, and with guys like that, slumps can last a very long time because he's not a guy that passes the puck. This is not a guy that's going to get you, 40 assists in a season. This is a guy that's going to get you 40 goals and like 15 assists. He's a pure goal scorer, and when you're in a slump as just a goal scorer, those slumps can last a long time, and all it takes is 1 week of him putting like 3 pucks in the net, and it's just whenever the hell that can happen. He's on a bad team, on a bad line, not really playing with anybody. It just, none of that lends to him breaking out of a slump in like a quick amount of time. So like on a bad team, on a bad line, and you're a pure goal scorer and you're in a slump like that, it's going to take a lot of patience, especially with a young guy like that. You can get in your own head and you start getting frustrated, making mistakes, and everything just keeps everything just keeps like compounding. And so all it's going to take is 1 good week from him, and this guy can put up, 15 goals in a month. Yeah. So I would just take the chance. You probably wouldn't have to give up too much for him. And this guy could be a very nice player on the end of your bench, on the bottom of your roster to maybe help you do something. I'd take a chance on it because he did score like 35 goals a couple years ago. So, and he's still young. He's only like 26 years old. So that's definitely a guy that like everything is there to make you like him. You're definitely taking a risk with him, but I think it could reap you good rewards. But you definitely have to have some faith on that one. Like, take the leap of faith. You might not regret it. No promises that you won't regret it. But good things usually don't happen very easily. So, just gotta think about it. Then Claude Giroux, having a decent year, definitely got more name value than actual great stats these days. But likely is going to be traded at the deadline. I'd try and get him now before that happens. Because I think, him going to an actual good team, he might do a little bit better and then would be more like a guy you'd want to keep on your team. I mean, he's still good enough right now where you don't want to drop him, obviously, but like when you think Claude Giroux, you don't think like, 35 points in a season. You think like 60 plus. But I think those days are a little bit behind him, but maybe, him going to a good young team would maybe revitalize him, get a little pep in the old step, And then TJ Oshie has had a slow couple weeks. He's still got a very good average overall, but like over the last couple weeks, if you look, he's kind of been in a big slump. Definitely a good player though. I'd love to have him on my team. I think you can capitalize on this slump, maybe get somebody to give him up. So just see what you can do there. TJ Oshie definitely could be a good move. And then sell high. We got some usual suspects on here, but a couple new guys that I haven't talked about too much, but I think are definitely worth sell high. So they start off with the obvious one, Evander Kane. Obviously, this guy isn't a must go sell high, like must go trade right now. You don't need to do that. I mean, he's a guy that is going to consistently like be right at that 4 average that you like to see. He's going to be he'll be one of your 5 or 6 best forwards over the rest of the season. But I think that you can still sell high just because he's on Edmonton, he's on the power play, he's playing with Connor McDavid. I mean, you can sell all of that, and I think you can use him to get something that you might need in other areas. Like if you're very weak at goalie, and Evander Kane is like your 5th or 6th best forward, and he's doing great. You can, you're very deep, obviously very deep at forward. Maybe you can be like, okay, I'm fine moving Evander Kane if I can get like a top 10 goalie out of it or something, So maybe, or if you're really weak at defense, maybe you move him for like a top 15 defender. You can do things like that. But just you gotta assess your situation, assess what you need, and see if like you can be okay losing what you're basically guaranteed to get with the Vander Kane. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then
no, you haven't. I think you're full of crap though, because you haven't sent any offers.
I haven't sent any offers this week because I'm like I keep talking with Max, but like he never. It takes him like 2 days to get back to me, and he doesn't look at my the trade offer. I'm trying to get Vasilevsky.
Okay,
and he says that he's interested in the trade, but like he's just not. I think he's just busy. So I'm not trying to bug him too much about it, but like he gets back to me like 2 days later on stuff. But I'm sending him over Koskinen, Evander Kane for Vasilevsky, and he says that he's interested in that. So
where's Vasilevsky?
He's on Max's team. He's
the number 5 goalie. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm only doing it because Max has also the number 1 goalie. Jacob Markstrom. If Vasilevsky was on another guy's team, that
number 3 now.
Oh, number 3 now. Well, anyway, that's the only reason I'm trying to get Vasilevsky, because I'm looking at it and I'm just like, whoa, I'm just asking for your second best goalie. So, anyways, but and then next on sell high, Patrik Laine. I think this guy definitely is more of a sell high because he's just on a hot streak right now. Very hot streak. I mean, this guy is like lighting it up right now. I think he's got like 8 goals in his last like 5 games or something fucking crazy like that.
Okay.
He's obviously not going to keep that shit up. But so I think you can definitely sell high on Patrik Laine right now. I think he can get you something similar to what Evander Kane could. I'd be all over wanting to get Laine, and I'd be all over if I had him trying to sell him high. Like he's one of those guys that's going both ways right now. Like I would love to get him on my team because I think he can sustain a little bit of what he's doing.
Okay.
And then also Cole Caulfield had an amazing week. Last week, we had the Cole Caulfield special last week. But I think that you'd be doing a disservice to your team if you weren't trying to see if you can move him, because he just did have just one great week. It's not like, and this is a young guy, there's no history of him being a amazing player. I would just try and see what you can get with him. If not, then just keep holding him and enjoying it. But like, just dangle him out there, see if anybody really wants him. Like, oh fuck, I gotta get me that Cole Caulfield. And then lastly on sell high, Tage Thompson. I think this is maybe the biggest sell, like the truest sell high on this list. He's a young guy on Buffalo. Shite fucking team, Buffalo. He's their best player right now, stat-wise. He's a guy that's kind of come out of nowhere. A young guy. Doing very well. I think that there would be people that are interested in him, and then you might be able to get somebody on a better team. Maybe it can be a little more consistent or something. I'd be trying to do something like that. As much as I like the Tage Thompson story, I just don't know if it's something that I don't know if I want to put all my eggs in the Tage Thompson basket,
Okay, gotcha.
So just see what you can get with any of these guys. I think that's a good list of sell highs. Anybody you think you want to add to that, Jake? Any sell highs?
No, well, a buy low was kind of Mikko Rantanen has had a bad
couple weeks. I just didn't want to put him on there because of the name value, but I did see that he has had a slow couple weeks.
And then another couple buy lows that are on my team, that Anthony Cirelli and Travis Konechny. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I mentioned Cirelli last week, so I kind of wanted to go with some different guys. But yeah, Anthony Cirelli is still definitely a buy low. I want Anthony Cirelli. Like, I would be willing to trade with you for him. I think he's a very good player.
Let's do it.
Okay.
You know who I want?
Boy? Okay, who do you want?
Kane.
Oh yeah, okay.
You knew that.
Click. It's gonna sound like I'm hanging up the
Well,
phone.
not 1-for-1, obviously.
Obviously,
I would
talk.
provide 2 players.
We'll talk. I'll get you with my receptionist.
What do you think about Bennington?
I think fuck you. That's what I think. That's what I think. You son of a bitch.
Oh my god. What about
you cheeky fucker?
What about Chikrin and Sorelli?
Interesting.
That's a
maybe.
no. Okay.
Yeah. I'll get you with my receptionist. We'll be in touch.
Kyrou and Sorelli.
Okay, we're getting warmer.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we're getting warmer.
Jesus, how high do you want me to go?
I don't know. Well, like I said, I'll get you with my receptionist.
Those 2, and I throw in Konechny. 3 for 1.
Maybe then, but I'd want to sit down and look at it. Not live on the air. But
yeah, go for it. Well, I mean, they might think this is cool.
Maybe.
Actual banter.
Yeah, actual banter. This is exactly what it's like. This is exactly how it's going on in the war rooms. Like, all the GMs right now for the trade deadline. This is exactly what's going on.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're live action role playing as NHL GMs.
God. Yeah, those are the players that I wanted to
ask
you about.
We're LARPing.
My God.
Good questions. Good questions. So now we'll move on to some goalie streaming options that I have, and I think these are guys that I don't think are at risk of like being picked up a ton. So I think you can find these guys on most waiver wires, and I think you can just go back and forth as you please if you like the matchups with these 3 guys. So Peter Mrazek, whenever he gets a start in Toronto, usually puts up decent stats. I mean, I know he just let in 5 goals to Buffalo. Mrazek does that shit every now and then. He'll just falter a little bit, but most of the time he's putting up pretty good, decent stats. He's on a good team. That's a team where you think he'll at least get a win. And similarly, Pavel Francouz, the backup on Colorado, whenever he plays, I like to get him in my lineup as a streaming option because he's putting up like a 935 save percentage right now. Or something fucking crazy. So he's just really good, but he's only getting like 40% of the starts. And then Laurent Brossoit, probably the worst of these 3, but because he just he got a lot of starts the last couple of weeks because Robin Lehner was hurt for like 2 weeks, and he didn't look that great getting all the starts. But he's good when he's like in that like getting like 30% of the starts role, like playing like once a week. He usually does a little better then, and he'll get you a win. So just be looking for these 3 guys whenever they are getting a start. Maybe think about streaming them in because they usually put up pretty decent numbers, and these are guys that are like less than 10% owned.
Probably Cal Peterson too, right?
I'd throw him in there as well, but he's just out of these 3 guys, he's on the shittiest team. LA is not that great, but Cal Peterson, what he gets you is the volume stats. Like he'll get you like over 30 saves, but he'll let in like 3 or 4 goals and won't get a win. So I think his ceiling's definitely the lowest of these 3 guys because I think these 3 guys can get you a win anytime they play, but just because of the teams they're on. And Cal Peterson, a win would be like, you'd be making a bet that it'd be a bet that he'd get a win. Like it's just a less of a chance, but he good goalie though. Definitely if these 3 guys aren't available, Cal Peterson is a good streaming option as well for sure.
Okay.
For some volume stats.
Yeah.
And then I got some forward streaming options here if you're looking for some guys just to get you some goals on like a Friday or Saturday or something at the end of the week. Jake DeBrusk and Eric Howla in Boston. We talked about these guys in surprises of the week. These guys are on hot streaks right now, and we'll see if it can continue for another week. I think at least get them in your lineups and see how they do early in the week. And, if you drop them by Wednesday, you drop them by Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jakub Voracek, the ageless wonder on Columbus, having a really good week. I think he's playing on the line with Patrick Laine, and he has the easiest job in the NHL right now. Just pass it over to Laine. So I'll take a little piece of that action. And yeah, and then Mike Hoffman, he's playing pretty good. I think he's on the line right now with Nick Suzuki. So, and Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield are both popping the fuck off. So, Mike Hoffman's just getting points by being present on there. So take a little piece of that, little piece of that action. Not terrible. And then we're gonna move on to scoop him up.
Did you do Nick Schmaltz?
I have him in scoop him up.
Oh, I didn't even notice. My bad.
That's all right. You can make a case that he's a stream as well if you want to make that case. You can go ahead. You can talk about him as a.
I just didn't see him in scoops.
Oh, all right.
And I thought stream because I saw the one good game. And then
it really is just the one good game, but
the rest are mediocre. So maybe you just read a hot streak is what I don't know. But
yeah, you know what? You've convinced me.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if he can keep it up, but he's always been a guy.
The only reason I
notice on waiver wires. I mean,
he had such a good week, but it is really just because of that one game where he had 2 goals, 5 assists. I think I saw or something crazy.
19.5 fantasy points.
Yeah, I think he definitely is more of a streaming option than an actual scoop. So I think you're right there. So definitely Nick Schmaltz. Pick him up, but he could get you no points this week, and that I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay.
And then so now we'll move on to scoop him up here. And my first guy is Mikko Koskinen. I was gonna put him on streaming options, but then last night I saw that Mike Smith went down. So who knows? Mike Smith's been dealing with injuries all season, so this could be something where Koskinen's getting like 90% of the starts again. So now Koskinen's like I think a must-add goalie just because he's going to be getting all the starts on Edmonton, who's fucking cooking right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Craig Smith, I think this guy's a scoop more so than DeBrusk and Haula because this is that line on Boston that's going off right now. DeBrusk, Haula, and Craig Smith. I think Craig Smith is the one of those 3 that you want to actually scoop up and keep because this is the guy that gets you the shots on goal, gets you the hits, gets you the blocked shots. I think this is the more sustainable guy of those 3. Just because he's a guy that's not going to get you 0 points. At least he'll get you like 3 or 4 hits in a game for something. He'll get you at least that. And while he's on a hot streak right now and getting you points as well, I think that makes him the guy that you'd want to consider keeping. Not keeping like as a keeper, but like just keeping on your roster for the rest of the season. And then Jeff Skinner, second best player right now in Buffalo behind Tage Thompson, having a very under the radar resurgent year. Looks like he's a twine tingler. He just keeps putting the puck in the net. So you definitely got to keep considering him. I keep thinking that it's just a fluke, but he keeps every week putting up points.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trevor Zegras. Still think you need to consider getting this guy back on your team. Still very low owned, but he's having a very good rookie year still, and he's still putting up points. I think he's a guy to consider putting on your team. He's a very good young player. And then Ivan Barbashev.
Yeah, I just want to talk about him because I wanted to ask you if he gets hits or something because he's got a 3.4 average in our league, which is that's above average for like just a guy at the bottom of the bench.
Yeah,
like I have guys that are at like 2.9 on my bench, and this guy's available.
Right. Right.
So does he get hits too? Because I see some assists. I see like a goal here and there, but nothing crazy. So it's got to be additional something, right? I mean,
yeah, no, he definitely does. He definitely gets hits. I mean, he's 53 games played, 91 hits, So he's almost at like 2 hits a game. That's great hits numbers. That's definitely
So
why
he's
he's
really
average.
only like we're only like a half point banger, right?
And
He's only 33% owned, but I know that's definitely higher on other formats that actually, I don't know,
yeah, I mean,
check their leagues.
he's more owned in a
Something's
banger league.
something's got to be wrong with ESPN, dude.
Oh, I don't think anything's wrong with. I don't know.
Like, or just people don't check their leagues. I don't get it.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's usually pretty easy pickings most
Unless
of the
it's just
time.
there's so many
There's so many hockey
more. There's
players.
so many more ESPN leagues than there are Yahoo. So Yahoo, like
That
their
probably is it
percentage,
too.
their percentage goes up, faster and drops faster. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah,
But anyway,
definitely
this guy, I
Barbashev
think,
is. Yeah,
like I was thinking about grabbing him right now, but I'm not going to do it. We'll see. But,
I'm thinking about it too. I honestly am. I didn't think he was still available. To be
well,
honest.
he's been grabbed and dropped multiple times, like probably like 6 times by different people. So now he's back on the wire. So,
Yeah.
but in other leagues, like he's probably available a lot. So,
Yeah.
because we're a 12-team league, so
Yeah.
10 teams leagues, he's available.
Definitely available for sure. And then moving on to Connor Murphy, defenseman on the Blackhawks. Definitely a guy if you're in a banger league, like if you get any hits and blocks points, you want this fucking guy because I think
it's just
he's
a
at
deep
3
league move.
He's at 3 hits and 3 blocks a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's his average. In our league, that is 3 points right there.
He gets shots on goal too. He just doesn't do much with them.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a one shot a game kind of about. He's not this is a stay at home guy. This isn't an offensive guy at all.
It's like a 12 or 14 team league guy.
Yeah, definitely. So,
but I just saw him being grabbed a decent amount, so I thought we'd talk about him. And then wanted to ask you about Zach Whitecloud. Is this like a young guy who could break out at the end of the season? It looks like his minutes are rising.
yeah, I do like Zach Whitecloud.
Okay.
Maybe
it's just like another 12-team guy or more. But
yeah, I mean his ice time is definitely going up. It's been going up by like a minute or two the last few games. You like to see it. Yeah, because on the season he's at 19 minutes on ice, and over the last week he's been at 21. So it looks like it's going up a little bit. Maybe he's getting on a power play now. So definitely, maybe at least as a streaming option, get him in there. But I don't know if I'm sold yet on a pure hold. But definitely, maybe scoop up and stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 3.2 average in our league.
Yeah, that's pretty good for sure. Definitely worth consideration. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
right. That's it for me.
Else?
Yeah, I didn't really see any goalies. Like I think now they've finally all been grabbed. That everybody that's serviceable.
In our league, definitely, I listed the only real 4 to consider: Koskinen, Mrazek, Francouz, and Brossoit. Other than that, there's not much out there in the way of goalies.
Yeah, it's completely barren.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, that'll do it for us. Thank you guys so much for listening. Go, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Look for videos every Sunday night or every Monday. We usually release our basketball and hockey. And stay tuned. We're eventually going to do our first baseball episode. We're going to do a mock draft, a off-season special, but we're just going to wait to kind of see what the fuck's going on with baseball.
They're renegotiating starting today, is what I read.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, just, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. And then while you're at it, go give us a follow on social media. Go to Facebook, facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. And go to Instagram, instagram.com/Garden of Sports. And then go to Twitter, twitter.com/GOSPod2021. Great follows. Definitely won't regret. And we will see you all over there. It's a party.
We'll see you all there. We'll see you another time.
Yeah, later, Manish.
Oh my gosh. Later, Jobin. All right,
Jobin.
dude.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.